So in my case, I enrolled in an engineering school in France, and they are prestigious schools. They're more prestigious than university. And so my destiny at that time was to actually become an engineer in mathematics and modeling. And then I traveled and I did an internship in South Africa where I worked with a biostatistician in a biomedical institute. And this is where I decided that I didn't want to do finance anymore and that I wanted to do more statistics applied to biology. After that, instead of becoming an engineer, I decided to pursue more research. And that was motivated because I did another internship in a biological lab where I learned about new techniques in biology, and that really made me think about the types of novel statistical methods that we could develop for very new arising problems in other fields. This is how eventually I ended up in academia, but even within that, I was working as a biostatistician consultant at some stage in a platform, and so my role wasn't 100% research. It's important, I think, to have all these different experiences to try to work out what we like and what we don't like. Because if we do not experience them, then we don't have the opportunity to project ourselves and to decide what we would like to do next and what we should aspire to. And recently, I was part of the Homeward Bound Leadership program that is for women in STEM. And so this is an online program to really learn about what we mean by leadership and how as women in STEM we can be the new leaders of tomorrow. And so this program was quite intense, but also it ended up with a trip in Antarctica with another 99 women, and they were all amazing. So we were on a ship for 18 days in a very closed environment with many challenges to face because it's not necessarily a comfortable situation. But there were so many other beautiful things that we learned on the way, and I'm just happy that I managed to go through this and to learn about how we can become better leaders for tomorrow. I changed career and workplaces maybe 5 or 6 times since I started my my studies, and I also changed countries. So it's hard to know whether the workplace has changed much in terms of gender diversity and equity, or if it is because as you progress along your career, then you stumble across some roadblocks. But yes, you do see some changes. Some are very positive. I can see now that our workplace is very supportive of women, especially in disciplines where there are not so many women. I can see also how along my years I was really championed and mentored by male and female academics. And they really helped me also to push myself and try to achieve greater things that I didn't originally have the confidence to do. So it is about how the workplace changed with you, but it's also about how you react and how you create the opportunity for yourself. As a statistician, I think the best part of my job is to play in everyone's backyard, as John Tukey said it. So he's a renowned statistician. I get to work on very exciting problems emerging from biology, from modern biology. I get to work with big data, that use very different techniques and platforms that are very cutting edge to try to understand biology and the biological system. And so I also get to work in very different fields because there's so many different fields that use these kind of techniques. from molecular biology to stem cell to microbiome to health and disease to ecology. And so every time I get to learn also a bit about these other disciplines, because it's important as a statistician that we understand where the data come from. It's about, working with different multi-disciplines and trying to teach, but also learn about new things. And that's really what I like. It's the variety and the creativity that we need for this kind of research. I have been educated in France, and I also have a lot of French collaborators that I see regularly back in France. So I can only comment on what's happening in France, but in France, the community in mathematics is very big. And so there are naturally more women in this discipline. Even in my classroom, in my engineering school, we were almost about 50% of women. In the specialization mathematics and modeling. So it really depends where you live and how the perception are also different. For example, when I was in France, I would have no problem saying that, I'm a mathematician or I work in mathematics. Whereas I think in Australia, there are not that many mathematicians around. And so we are perceived very differently by the general public. And so that also changes the way I present myself or how I present my work to try to adjust to the culture and the expectation.